Alright guys, so let us enter into the session number 2. So yesterday we have discussed about the differences between PEGA marketing and PEGA decisioning. What is the PEGA marketing? What is PEGA decisioning? What are the different portals which are there in the system? We have the customer decision hub, we have the prediction studio, and we have the mandatory requirements for the PEGA marketing. That's CSA completion. You have to do the CSA. We have seen the different types of marketing, the inbound marketing, outbound marketing, what is inbound marketing, what is outbound marketing. So this is what we have covered yesterday. And today, let us go into the environment setup. So as part of the environment setup, we'll be seeing before you actually create an application. Okay, let us say you are creating some application, right? Decisioning application. What you have to do. So what environment is suitable for a PEGA decisioning application? That's what we are going to see today. So unlike traditional PEGA application development, CDH will need additional services. Okay, CDH will need additional services that needs to be enabled in order to work properly. So what are those services means? These are the services. So these are not same for PEGA. For PEGA, these are all not needed. But for PEGA decisioning applications, these services are needed. So those are ADM. ADM stands for Adaptive Decision Manager. So Adaptive Decision Manager is a service that is responsible for training adaptive models and predictive models with the customer interaction history. That means whatever the customer is responding, the customer responses will be inserted into interaction history. Okay, so let us say you sent a iPhone to the customer. The customer said that he is interested. This information will be recorded into a particular feature that is called interaction history. Okay, interaction history will contain all the customer responses, all the customer interactions. So from the interaction history, the models should learn that, right? Like I told you yesterday, in the prediction studio, we have adaptive model, predictive model, which is mainly used for analyzing the customer responses. So who will give the customer responses to the adaptive model and predictive model? Means it will be done by the ADM. ADM stands for Adaptive Decision Manager. Second is DDS. DDS stands for Decision Data Store. So in PEGA decisioning, we have a concept of Cassandra Database. Cassandra Database is exclusive for PEGA decisioning only. In core PEGA applications, you will not have Cassandra Database. But for PEGA decisioning applications, there is some exclusive database called Cassandra Database. What is the purpose of that? We will see that. Now I want to use Cassandra Database. I want to insert some data into the Cassandra Database. I want to delete some data from the Cassandra Database. All these operations is possible only when DDS service is enabled. Okay, DDS stands for Decision Data Store, which is mainly used for Cassandra Database operations. Third one we have is Stream, which you already know, which is present in PEGA also. Stream is used for real-time processing, like searches, any search that you do, any real-time processing, all that. Then next we have RTDG. RTDG stands for Real-Time Data Grid. In PEGA decisioning also, we have some real-time happenings. Okay, like for example, suddenly the customer will update his profile saying that I want to cancel my subscription. This information you need to get to the PEGA marketing using some real-time features. Okay, using some real-time features. So this information will be received to PEGA only when this RTDG services are enabled. So this RTDG and real-time both are used to receive real-time events from other applications to PEGA marketing. Okay, so and the background processing, we already know background processing is used for the agents, queue process, job schedulers to run normally, right? So that is same in PEGA, whatever is there. The additional services that we have here is ADM, which is responsible for sending the customer interaction history to adaptive model and predictive model so that they can analyze. DDS is responsible for Cassandra Database. RTDG and real-time are responsible for receiving the real-time information from other systems. The remaining two are same as PEGA. So these are the services that we have to enable in our system before you actually start the implementation. Okay, clear till here? Any questions? Let me know. So just to understand the basic concepts, what is a node and what is a cluster? So basically, you might be seeing this concept in your core PEGA that we have 10 nodes, we have 5 nodes like that. So each node is corresponding to a particular server. Okay, that means let us say there are 5 nodes, means the business has bought 5 servers. In every server you can install PEGA. Okay, in every server you can install PEGA. What is the purpose of having multiple nodes? Means you can balance the load, mainly load balancer. So if you configure a load balancer, the load balancer will take care of adjusting the load in multiple nodes. Like for example, 100 people are using same node, then it will take care of adjusting that load to other nodes also. So that even though many people are using, the load will not impact the performance of the application. So more the number of nodes, the balancing will be more better. Okay, a node is nothing but a server. Now these nodes are present in a particular group that is called cluster. Okay, for example, you can create some 10 nodes for dev environment, and all those related dev nodes you can keep in the dev cluster. So for example, for production, you created some 4 nodes. Those 4 nodes you can keep it in a production cluster like that. So like this, you can configure a cluster and keep the nodes. So now coming to the node classification. So as part of node classification, what we do, we will be classifying the nodes with these services. That is called as node classification. Node classification means, let us say I have 4 nodes. Out of these 4 nodes, which service should run on which node? Just a minute, yes, okay. Okay. So let us say I have 4 nodes. So these 4 nodes, which service should run on which node? I have ADM, I have DDS, I have RTDG, and I have 4 nodes. So out of these 4 nodes, which service should run on which node? Which service should not run on which node? So this kind of classification we can do as part of a feature that is called node classification. So here what we do is we just simply classify the node types to the node using some specific method. So first of all, where do we see the nodes? You will be able to see that in the admin studio. So let us start this cloud. Okay, so I'm going to start the cloud. I gave you the link to everyone yesterday. Please use that particular link to join. Okay, so I'm going to 8.7. So I don't know how many of you have opened this cloud and tried to log in. So if you haven't not yet done, please see now how we are going to do. So just what you do here, I just click on launch PEGA. Yeah, we'll see what is Cassandra DB. We'll see what is that. We will come into that session. So here you see I'm just clicking on launch button and I have this particular icon. I need to click on this icon. So now the password to log in to this particular system is decisioning architect and the password is rule. So I shared this information to everyone yesterday. If you have not received yet, please again ask. So the Cassandra database is both internal and external. That means in PEGA decisioning, PEGA inbuilt has internal Cassandra database. But if you want to use an external Cassandra database for your business, you can do that also. Okay, so whichever you want, you can do that. Either you can use what PEGA provides, or you can also create a new Cassandra. So now this is the CDH portal. So in this portal, so now if you see here, I have this admin studio and I have nodes, right? So where do we see this? We already know. So what you have to do is go to the CDH, go to the intelligence and prediction studio. Okay, so this is where you go to the dev studio. So you go to the intelligence here on the left side, select the prediction studio, and you will be getting this prediction studio here, where you can do all the analysis. The models will be doing the analysis of whatever the customer responses are received. Those responses can be analyzed here. Now, in order to go to the admin studio, you can just click here and go to the admin studio. So when you go to the admin studio, you can see how many nodes are there. So once I come here, I just click on the nodes. And you see here, I have only one node. I only have one node. Okay. So that particular node type is set to universal. So I gave you the what is the meaning of node type as universal. Just check this one. That universal means all services enabled. Universal means all services enabled. So if you see here, I told you that there are these services, right? ADM, DDS, stream, RTDJ, real-time background processing. There are more services also. Okay, like we have search, web user, which is there in core PEGA. Okay, those are also there. There are many services which are there in PEGA. So if you want to run all the services on a single node, then we have to classify as universal. So this you have to classify as universal only when you have a single node in your system. In your personal edition also, if you go to the admin studio, if you check the nodes, you will have only one node. You will not have more than one. You will have only one. So when you have only one, you need to set it as universal, because there is no option. Everything should run on the same node. Okay, that's what you have to do. How do I set it as universal, and how do I do the node classification? So what you have to do is you have to go to this particular path. So right now I don't have any personalization, but if you have personalization, please do this procedure. What you have to do is go to the PEGA installation directory. Okay, so wherever your PEGA is installed, go to that path. Then in that path you have Tomcat, and in that Tomcat you have bin folder. In that you have setup.env.bat. So I don't think PEGA is installed in my system right now. Yeah, it's not installed. So what you do, just you follow this procedure. Okay, go to your PEGA installation directory. Wherever you installed your PEGA personal edition, go to that folder. Inside you will find one Tomcat folder. Inside that you will find one bin folder. Inside that you have this setTNV.bat. So I request all of you to do this procedure today, so that you can understand how to perform node classification. This is same regardless whether you are working on personal edition or your client project. You have to follow the same procedure. So you should ask your admin to provide this access to this particular file. Then you open this file. After you open this file, there is a particular line that you will see like this, something similar like this, -denote type. Simply what you have to do is just add the services that we have seen, that is ADM, DDS, RTDG, like this you have read services. Just you add them to the existing list. Definitely denote type will be having some value will be there. Just to keep comma and you add the remaining services. You have to add in the same format, okay, because this is case sensitive. Don't keep a small like that. It will not work. Okay, so you have to add the services which I showed you in the denote type. If you have a single node, what you do, you just go to this path in your personal edition and simply set -denote type equal to universal. Just open the file and set it as -denote type equal to universal, which means every single service should be running on that particular node. But when you have multi nodes, then you set some services on node 1, some services on node 2, like that you will do. Universal is applicable only when you have a single node. But when you have multiple nodes, you will segregate these services into multiple nodes. That's what you do. So this is the procedure how you do node classification. Okay, so node classification will be done like this. You need to go to that path, update the denote type argument. Once you do that, just shut down the PEGA server. So you know already, right? You just need to click on that shutdown icon, wait for the PEGA to shut down. After it's shut down, again you restart it. So again what you do, you just click on the startup button, startup icon. Again you wait for the PEGA server to start. So that's it. Now you go to the admin studio again and you just verify what is present here. Definitely the value will be changed. So whatever the values that you kept as denote type, that value will be displayed here. Okay, so I just request all of you, whoever is having personal edition in their system, follow this procedure. Let me know if it is working for you. Okay, just this is how we do the node classification in PEGA. So either you do it in real-time project or in personal edition, same procedure. Okay, so yeah, now one more thing what we have to do. Once we have performed the node classification. So how do I do node classification? Node classification is done by going to the setEnv.bat and denote type value you will be setting. So once it is set to universal, We have to do one more check within the Dev Studio. So what we have to do is we have to go to the Dev Studio. In the Dev Studio, you need to verify the services status. So I told you, right, there are 4 services, right? ADM, DDS, RTDG, real time. So these are 4 specific to PEGA decisioning. So remaining services are common in decisioning and also core PEGA. So you have to verify whether these services are running or not. So go to the configure, go to the decisioning, infrastructure, services. And here you will be able to see all the services for PEGA decisioning. DDS, which is the Cassandra Database related service, which I showed you that just now, right? Cassandra Database related service. You see the status is normal. You have to make sure that the status is normal. So you can also see the information, like what information is there, that information also you can see. That means this particular status is normal, and also how much space it is using, that information also you can see. It is using this much space, and whether everything is fine or not, you can just see here. So same way, if you go to the ADM, here also you can see the status is normal. If the status is not normal, what we have to do? So like I told you, the service you need to check and see whether the status is not normal. If the status is not normal, you have to escalate to your administrator stating that ADM service is down. You will see something like failed, joining failed, like that you will be getting the message there instead of normal. So you have to send an email to your administrator and ask them to restart the server. Okay, generally the common procedure that is followed whenever a service is not running is to restart the server. After restart, most of the time the issue will be fixed. Okay, so you can also see what information that related whatever is having, that you can just see here. So this is what you have to do. Click on each and every tab and verify whether the status is normal or not. Every single tab should have status normal. This is how you verify whether the decisioning services are enabled or not. Okay, see, everything is normal. Everything is normal. Stream is also normal. These are mandatory. Each and every service is mandatory for some particular features in decisioning. Okay, that features will not work if at all these are down. That is the reason everything should be running normally. So any questions still here? Like any confusion or any doubts or any questions? So no questions for anyone?
Actually, I have one small doubt. Hello. So, what is
Yeah,
the difference between RTDG and real-time services?
RTDG, real time, both
And
are same. Basically, both are same, but there is a small difference. Like for real time, it will be used by core PEGA also, but RTDG is specific to this decisioning only.
okay, but real-time can be used in Core PEGA.
Yeah, we can use in core PEGA also.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where do we find in the Core PEGA the real-time service?
Listeners, right? So you have listeners and all that. They will also be using real time.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
So the real-time is also a core concept like background processing and stream.
Right. Right.
Mm, okay.
So
Okay.
Coming to the next one. So this is the recommendation that we have from PEGA. What is the recommendation is you have to check these services, and the node types are background processing, BIX, search, stream, web user. So what are the PEGA node types that we have is background processing, BIX, search, stream, web user. And for decisioning related, you have this thing. So decisioning also we have real time. So that is other real time process that is saying. So in real time, we have real time events, real time container. These are the topics that are specific to decisioning. Okay, that are specific to decisioning. Yeah, so I can just keep this bigger. So can you see now? Just a minute. Okay, so just go through this slide. Okay, these slides will be shared to you after the session. I'll share the slides to you. You can go through the slide and see whether you are able to understand or not. So what is the purpose of each service? And it is showing you, see on the last also have universal. It means all in one. All the process can run on this node type. Okay, when you say it as universal. Which service is responsible for which purpose? That is also mentioned here. All right. Now coming to the Cassandra database. So I was telling that Cassandra database is specific to PEGA decisioning and PEGA marketing. So what is PEGA Cassandra database? What is the purpose of this database to be added to the application? Is there any reason why this is added only for decisioning means? There are two reasons why Cassandra is available. First reason is scalability. The second reason is applicability. So scalability means as you keep adding customers and data to the database, the scalability will be increased. That means today in my database, I have 10 customers. Tomorrow I have 100 customers. So even with 10 customers or 100 customers, the performance will remain same. Even with 1 million customers also, the performance remains same. How is it is going to do the concept of data distribution in multi-node environment? For Cassandra, we recommend at least having 3 nodes. When you have 3 nodes, the data will be distributed into the 3 nodes, and whichever node is faster from that particular node, Cassandra will take and it will provide the information to you. So the scalability is achieved using Cassandra. That means it will work normally with 100 customers or also with 1 million customers also. It will work the same way because the performance will be reserved and it will not impact because the data is distributed and data can be retrieved very faster. So the scalability can be achieved and you don't need to worry. Even if I have 10 million customers, 100 million customers also, you don't need to worry about using those customers list in the Cassandra. Second main reason for Cassandra is availability. So availability means how long your database is available. Most of the databases, whenever there is some system crash, the database will take lot of time to recover, lot of time to enable. But Cassandra database will guarantee you 99% of availability. Availability means the database is not down, database is not corrupted. So 99% of time it is known to be available. So for these two major important reasons, Cassandra database is considered by the PEGA for decisioning purposes. Because I told you right in that screen yesterday that you provide the input to the CDH about your customers. Most of the businesses that are using PEGA, they will be very high-end businesses. They might have 10 million, 20 million customers also. So this many customers, if you have to handle, and let us say you have to send mails to this many customers, it is not easy to just use the core PEGA database which is there. Okay, so you have to have a special dedicated database that is called Cassandra database. So in Cassandra database, you will have scalability and availability so that you can perform your database related operations without any impact to the application. So okay, scalability and availability, because you need to always interact with customers. Marketing means you are interacting with the customers, you are sending emails to them, you are getting responses from them, you are sending this information for the models. Okay, 10 million customers information you have to insert into the models. So always we interact with the customers, you have to manipulate the data with the customers, which you don't generally do in core PEGA applications. So that's the reason, these two reasons we have Cassandra, scalability and availability. So for that reason, PEGA internally has the Cassandra database for storing all the decisioning data. The internal Cassandra database is there. If you want to use an external Cassandra database, that is also possible. So where do I see the Cassandra database information? So if you see this application which I am showing you, this application is already having a CDH application. Okay, this is a decisioning application. This is not a PEGA application. Okay, so if you go to the DDS, within the DDS, I told you, right, like decision data store service is responsible for Cassandra database. Okay, so if your decision data store is not running, then Cassandra database, you cannot manage that. Okay, you cannot manage the Cassandra database without this. So what you have to do is come to this place. I told you, configure decisioning infrastructure services. This is where you can see which services are running, which services are not running related to decisioning. And here you have to click on edit settings. So when you click on edit settings, then you will be able to see this information like the Cassandra information. This is the Cassandra internal database information. That means PEGA has installed a internal Cassandra database in your application, and this is the information like what is the port number, what is the user ID, and what is the password. Okay, so if you want to use external Cassandra, you have to select this checkbox and you have to create a Cassandra database externally and give that host name here and also the user ID, password, and everything. So if you want to use external, select this checkbox. If you want to use internal, just unselect the checkbox and just keep as it is. Okay, just keep as it is. This is the database information. Okay, this is the database information of PEGA Cassandra. Now, how do I insert something to the database? How do I retrieve something? Means everything will be done using dataset. So we will see what is this dataset, how to insert using dataset and all that. But by using dataset only, we can insert, delete, or retrieve. All this will be done by the decision data store dataset. Okay, so decision data store means always remember it is nothing but it will point to the Cassandra database. So every operation that you do for Cassandra database has to be done by decision data store. So that is where you see this Cassandra database, and yeah, like we have internal Cassandra, you can also use external Cassandra database. Someone is having a question, so how do I download the CDH application? So like I told you yesterday, just we have the cloud edition, right? You have to use the cloud edition. There is no option to download and install in personal edition. That is not working. So go to this link, use this link, and then open the cloud edition. Log into the cloud edition with the credentials I shared you. So we also have one more database which is called external Mkt data. External Mkt data is used to store marketing information like segments, actions, treatments, etc. So this database, external Mkt database, is a internal PEGA database. So this database is specific again to PEGA marketing applications. So whenever you create a PEGA decisioning application, one more database is also created that is called external Mkt data. So this external Mkt data, you can use it for connecting to your external database. That's the reason they have given that name. But these two databases are created in the PEGA. One is a Cassandra database, second is a external Mkt data database. These two are created by default whenever you create the PEGA decisioning application. So just let me know, like whenever you have any doubts or whenever you are stuck somewhere, just let me know. So finally, before you create a decisioning application, we need to know one more thing, which is called the context. Okay, which is called the context. So just I'll show you here in the notepad. So we were discussing that PEGA marketing and PEGA decisioning, what is the purpose means to promote to the customers, right? To promote to the customers. So when you are promoting this, okay, when you are promoting this, what kind of customers are those? So let us say I want to promote to leads. Okay, leads means these are not customers. They are only interested to buy something. Okay, so for example, you are running some e-commerce business. There are some 10,000 customers. You are having some 10,000 customers. Some new person, he is interested to buy some product, but he is not an existing customer. Those people are called leads, right? Those are called leads. So I also want to promote to some other group that is called customers, let us say. That means these people are already customers. They want to buy new product. They want to buy another product, you can say. They want to buy another product. Already this person, some XYZ, he bought some laptop in your business. Now he want to buy mobile. Okay, already he bought a laptop, now he want to buy mobile. So you want to promote to these people also. So let us say I want to promote to some other people, like that is, let us say something like social media users. That means whichever customer has liked your Facebook page, you want to promote to those people. So all these kind of examples, all these kind of audience, we call them as subjects, okay, or context. Okay, context means audience. Context or subject, both are nothing but called as audience. Okay, so because I cannot say I want to promote to customer, because when some lead is there, we cannot consider him as a customer. So we have a generic name for the audience as context. Okay, so either it is a social media person, either it is a customer, either it is a lead, whoever it is. The generic name for the person or the people that you promote is called as context or subject. So now this subject, you will be storing them in a particular table, right? So how you do that? You just create some class like xyz-data-customer, and this will point to some table. There you will store your customers information. Similarly, maybe you will do something like this also, like xyz-data-leads, which will point to a table where you will store leads information. So this table or this class where you are storing the audience information, you call that as subject type. Okay, you call that as subject type, which is nothing but here subject type is the class name. Okay, subject type is the class name. So the subject type for customer context is xyz dash data dash customer. The subject type for leads is xyz dash data dash leads. Now again, in every class you will have a primary key, right? For example, in customer the primary key is customer ID. In leads class the primary key is lead ID. This is called as py subject ID. Okay, this is called as a py subject ID. Because we have to be generic, right? We cannot say customer ID as the primary key for leads. So generic names for this audience, the audience table, and the audience primary key is this one. Okay, audience are called as subjects. Audience class is called as subject type. Audience primary key is called as py subject ID. So regardless of whatever the table that you are using, regardless of whatever audience you are using, the subject ID will be specific to that particular table. So these are the generic names that we have, and we also call them as contexts. Okay, another name that we have is context. Now, at a particular given situation, you don't promote to all of them at the same time. You can do that, but all of them you don't promote at the same time. So every business will have some primary audience. Like for example, I already have customers. My main goal is to increase customers. My main goal is to increase customers. Right now I have some 1 lakh customers. I want to increase this customer data. So my main goal is to promote to the leads so that my customers are increased. So the primary audience, we call it as a primary context. Okay, we call it as a primary context. And all the remaining audience. So we have identified that the business has identified they want to promote to these 3 people. So you have to ask the business to whom you want to promote. What is your objective? What is the objective of your promotion? The business will say, I want to promote to the leads. I want to promote to the customers. I want to promote to the social media users. Now, out of this, who are your primary audience? That means majority of your marketing on which audience you want to do. Either you want to promote to the existing people or you want to promote to the new people. All that information you have to take. So now the business will say, I want to increase my customer database. Now the primary context here is leads. Then the secondary context is your social media users and the customers. Okay, at a given point of time in PEGA decisioning, only one primary context will be there, and you can have multiple secondary contexts. Okay, again, context or subject both are same. Okay, so only one context I'm having, that is a leads. The secondary contexts are social media users and customers. And again, just you need to remember this concept. Subject means the audience, subject type means the class name, subject ID, py subject ID is the primary key of that particular table. So this is the primary context and the secondary context that you need to have. So one more thing also we need to have, that is called as associated context. See, all this thing you have to do before you start the decisioning implementation, because you are creating an application but you don't know to whom you want to promote, what is the table there where they are present. Okay, so I want to promote to customers, but I don't have the table where customers information is there. So before you promote, only you have to decide whom you want to promote, where the customers information is present, what is their email ID, what is their mobile number, when you want to promote. All these things you need to confirm and you need to create. Okay, you need to at least confirm before you creating. You need to at least get this information. So the associated context means this is nothing but the product holdings. Okay, this is nothing but the product holdings. Product holdings means whatever the customer is having, that is called as associated context. See, for example, I want to promote to customer. Okay, I want to promote what I want to promote means I want to promote some let us say iPhone. I want to promote the iPhone to the customer, but I have to check first, right? I have to check whether the customer is already having the iPhone. Okay, so I want to promote a Dell laptop to the customer, but if the customer is already having the Dell laptop, then there is no use of promoting because the customer will not buy that. So that is called as associated context. That is the example of that. That means whatever the customer's existing products, existing services, existing subscriptions that the customer is having, that is called as associated context. Okay, associated context means whatever the customer is already having. For example, I want the associated context of social media user. That means we have a social media user, some person called XYZ. That XYZ, which Facebook page he has liked, when did he join, so what page he is liked, what product he is having. Because if we know the product that he is already having, then only we will be able to promote. Promoting a iPhone to the customer who is already having the iPhone is not a valid scenario. So we need to know what products they are having, so that according to that we can promote some better offers or some related offers. So these are the three things that you have to remember. That is a primary context, secondary context, and associated context. So why do we need this information? Means we have a concept in PEGA decisioning that is called the context dictionary. Okay, that is called the context dictionary. So if you go to the App Studio, you have to configure the context dictionary, which is like a heart of your decisioning, because all the information will be taken from context dictionary only. Okay, so that means we have to configure a particular feature where we will tell the PEGA decisioning that, okay, I want to promote to these people. This people information is present in this table, and this is the email ID of that person. All that information you have to tell to the decisioning application so that it will take from there. So if you come to the App Studio, go to the context dictionary here. So again, we have to do this thing after creating application. So probably we'll create the application tomorrow. After you create the application, you have to configure this. Because all your PEGA marketing, when it is trying to send an email to the customer, for every person, will you give the email ID? No, right? So from some place, when you say, okay, send it to customers, PEGA has to know, okay, where is the customer, what is their email ID. So if you are sending to 10 million people, you will not give email address of 10 million people one by one, right? So it will automatically take from this feature. So if you see here, I have the context, three contexts are there here. The primary context, which means primary audience, is customer. The remaining two, account and prospect, these are the secondary context, which means they are also some type of audience, but your main focus is on customer. And you can see the associated data, which is accounts join and FS clickstream. So that means this customer is having some associated data. These two are the associated data that he is having. So we'll see how to configure this, what is the configuration steps and everything, we'll be seeing it. But this is the pre installation procedure that you need to do. Okay, so any questions on this thing? So first thing what we have seen is how to set up the environment. We have to set up the environment and we have to enable all the services. Second thing is we have to you have to do the node classification. Do the node classification, enable the services, verify the services are running normally or not. After you verify, you have to see the Cassandra database. Cassandra database is exclusive for PEGA decisioning. which is used mainly for scalability and availability. Then finally, we have the context information, which is the primary context, secondary context, associated context. The context is also called as subject. Subject means audience. Subject type means the class where the audience is present. Subject ID, py subject ID is the primary key of that particular class. Okay, any questions still here? Any doubts? Yeah, so we are good to create the application now. All the prerequisite information that we got it now. Now we are good to create the application, which we'll see tomorrow. Okay, tomorrow as soon as we start the class, we will be creating the first PEGA decisioning application. Okay, any questions, guys? No one is having any question? Yeah, anyways, you will be getting the recording, you will be getting the PPT, so no need to worry. Just you can go through the PPT and you can also learn. So if you have any questions, we can also discuss tomorrow. All right, then see you tomorrow then. Thank you.